welcome to You Need to Know with Hussein and Nofila, another episode. I'm looking forward to this one because we're going to go ahead and kind of combine real estate, education. So it'll be education about the real estate end. So we get a lot of questions when we're out on showing houses or just out in the community. And we just wanted to clear up some things. And I think what I've learned so far the last couple of weeks is that sometimes what we take for granted, it's very informational for other people because they don't know.
Because we talk about it all
That's
day,
why you're here.
Day,
you need to know.
So we kind of, we do take it for granted.
So let's start talking about, let's see, something simple. Different styles of homes.
Okay.
I'll go to show a house and it's colonial. One of the, smaller colonials, maybe 1,250 square feet, and people will walk in and they'll say, oh, there is no bathroom on the first floor.
Right.
With our culture,
we need a bathroom on the first floor.
We get a lot of guests to visit.
Of course, yeah.
And nobody's going to go up the stairs to use the bathroom and come back down the stairs. It's an inconvenience. So I always recommend maybe we need to look into a bungalow.
Right.
And what's the first question you get when you tell somebody, let's look at a bungalow?
Does the air conditioning reach upstairs?
Yeah, that's a good question. But what I was getting at is, what is a bungalow?
Yeah, what's a bungalow?
So let's talk about what is a bungalow. A bungalow is usually a smaller home. It was built as a single story, but it looks like a 1.5 story from the outside.
Yes.
Usually a front porch. It's a pitched roof.
Yeah.
And
why is it a pitched roof?
And we know in the Midwest, not only in Michigan, pitched roofs are very convenient because we know it snows in the Midwest. It snows a lot, so that helps with the snow removal so it doesn't just sit there until it completely melts. So what happened, I can tell you a little bit about the bungalows. They weren't always 3-bedroom bungalows.
No?
They were before World War II. I wasn't around then.
Okay.
Before World War II, they were built as just 2 bedrooms. And after the war, people needed more housing. Older children were moving out. When they became adults, they stuck around. And most people started finishing the upstairs into a nice, beautiful bedroom. And some even added a bathroom on the second floor, so the jumbo bungalows. So that's one style, the bungalow. What I mentioned earlier, colonial, that's usually a small basement, because if you think about it, it's a straight-up colonial, smaller basement than a bungalow. And it has your typical living room, somewhat of a formal dining room, or just like a big eating kitchen. Some of the bigger colonials might have a family room in the back that might lead to the backyard. So those are beautiful homes, and all the bedrooms are upstairs. So that works for some people. It's a very beautiful home from the outside. The most popular one in the Dearborn Heights area, I want a ranch. Everybody wants a ranch.
Everybody wants a ranch.
We're actually looking for a ranch now.
Yeah, call us.
A ranch is a single-story layout, mostly open concept.
Yeah.
Okay, it's usually what we call like a long home on a big lot. Yeah. And guess what? That's part of the reason why ranches are more expensive. So right now, if you're buying a colonial, if it's updated, got all the the right amenities, it's probably around 250 square feet. If you go to buy a ranch right now, you're paying over $300 a square foot. At least, yeah.
It's a nice ranch,
it could be up to $350, even higher. But a ranch is 1 floor and a huge basement because the basement is under the.
The basement's a whole other house.
Whole basement is a whole other house. Yeah. You're right. And sometimes. Especially in the Dearborn Heights area, people love finishing their basements. Yeah. Me personally, I can do without a basement. We looked at a house about 6-7 years ago, and we thought about it. There was no basement, but that was before the floods. Boy, I would have got that one right, huh? But some people spend like $50,000 in their basement. I've seen basements where people spent like over $200,000. It's like just a beautiful space. Family room. Some of these basements, you can actually throw like a small wedding.
And then the whole city flooded. I'm being negative right now, but.
Hey, I just started out as a beautiful day, and you want to go that way, huh? Yeah. The other, there's other types of homes. In West Dearborn, especially in Dearborn Hills, there's a lot of Cape Cods. Those are very charming homes.
They are.
Beautiful from the outside. sometimes it's like 1.5 stories, sometimes it's like a 2-story home. Just beautiful. I mean, especially the beautiful landscaped ones just stand out.
They're a nice mix between the ranch and the bungalow because they give you that extra space upstairs, but it's a little larger than it's a little wider than a bungalow, and then you still have sometimes you'll have a bedroom on the first floor.
Yeah.
And it's a wider house in general, so it's a very nice mix.
So you might have like a first floor bedroom.
Yeah.
And most likely a full bathroom on the first floor, full bathroom on the second floor, and then if it is a finished basement, there's probably another full bathroom down in the basement.
One of the facts I learned about Cape Cods is they have dormer windows. Right, and those were made to help withstand the weather in England. So it's an English style home.
It is. Yeah. It brings a lot of the European, quote unquote, charm.
Yeah.
The only thing is sometimes, like I said, there's many other styles, but in the Dearborn area, I love my colleagues. If it's not a bungalow, it's not a ranch, it's not colonial, we'll just call it a Cape Cod.
Call it a Cape Cod, yeah. Everything's a Cape Cod if it's not one of the three.
Yeah, if it's not one of the top three. Again, ranch style homes are a little bit more expensive per square foot. There's on the east side of town of Dearborn. We're going to concentrate on Dearborn a little bit today, but it also applies to other areas. In the East Dearborn area, there's a lot of bungalows. Yeah. And the good thing about ranches too is sometimes they have an attached garage. It's very, very convenient.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, it's an attached garage. I can imagine, pulling into the garage to unload the groceries. You don't have to go upstairs. You can go like maybe a step or two right into the kitchen.
Right into the kitchen or the mudroom.
Exactly, the mudroom, in between.
We have a condo like that right now for sale. And they don't all have the little mudroom transition, but this one has a 2-car garage. You walk into the mudroom, and then it transitions into a first floor laundry, and then the ranch condo, which it seems to be ideal for a lot of people because they never have to go in the basement, and there's nothing to go to upstairs either.
If you have any questions about our topic today or any other topic, please call us. The phone number at CINA Radio, 313-769-6666. 313-769-6666. Today's show is sponsored by Eastbourne Fruit Market on Wyoming in East Dearborn. It's between Warren and Tireman. Thank you, Eastbourne, for sponsoring today's show. Mr. Hassan Adouh is the general manager there. A lot of experience there, very knowledgeable about the business, the merchandise. So when you go in there, thank Hassan for us. Thank you for sponsoring today's show. If you have any questions for us, our phone numbers are, my phone number is 313-580-8007. Nofila's phone number is 313-443-7443. Again, that's 313-443-7443. I think we covered probably 90% of the different styles of homes in the area.
I have a story to tell about a bungalow. Oh, was it a bungalow? Yeah, it was a bungalow. So this was very early on in my real estate career, and I'm showing houses. And it was a bungalow home, and the clients were very interested, but the upstairs was an unfinished bungalow. It was an unfinished room. It was just attic space.
Yeah.
But it was a high ceiling, so you could actually go up there and just, create a bedroom space.
Sure.
I went up first. You never go up first. I should always let the clients go up first.
Where's she going with this?
So I got up there first. It's a vacant home, before we scare anybody. And I see a window with a chair, just a plastic lawn chair sitting in front of the window. Oh, that's interesting. Someone used to sit here and look outside the window. And I looked out the window, and there was woods. This is here in Dearborn, by the way. It was a wooded area. Okay, so we start snooping around to see, what the roof looks like within the attic, and if there's any leaks or anything like that. And I opened a closet door, and there was a whole setup of weapons, just different guns. And at first sight, I thought, okay, this looks like, something, war zone. It looked scary to me. But then when I pulled myself together and I told the client to stay downstairs, and I looked a little harder. It was hunting equipment. I mean, they're still weapons, but it wasn't what I initially thought it was. And then I noticed that the person used to sit, upon further investigation, they used to sit in front of this window and snipe whatever animals were in the woods. It was very frustrating to see, and I had to report it, and it was a whole thing. But being a new agent, it was scary.
I can imagine what the heck.
What were they doing?
I don't think you've shared the story with me. I'm like, where's she going with
No, I don't think I ever told you that story. No.
What area was it?
No, I can't say.
The only area I can think of.
Oh, it was West Dearborn.
I was gonna say probably what, off of Rotunda right there. It's the only area I can think of.
No, a little farther west.
It doesn't matter.
A little farther west.
Yeah, hey, for once, Nofila's telling the story instead of me telling the story. So
Let's turn this into a storytelling show today.
We will.
Go ahead.
We will. I think after you understand what style home you're buying, you probably need to know what the exterior, the different exteriors of the different homes.
That's a big deal.
Obviously, the most popular one is the brick houses. Everybody wants. There's pros and cons for brick homes, like everything else. Brick homes are last a long time. Some homes are probably like 150 years old, especially in aviation sub. Those homes are definitely over 100 years old, and they're still beautiful. They're somewhat easier to maintain, right? But at the same time, they're more expensive.
Yes. Compared
to other materials. Sometimes the brick, because the moisture builds up in there, they start cracking. That's what's called, what do we have to do for the city? Put mortar in there? Tuck pointing, yeah, that's the right word, yeah. Well, you have to put mortar, that's called tuck pointing. Somewhat easier to maintain than some of the other material. Another style that was used a long time ago, other than the brick, was wood. Yes, I said wood. Some of the wood is beautiful. I mean, just the natural beauty of wood. I love wood. I love hardwood floors, the charm it brings. But also, same thing with like everything else, is pros and cons. The pros are, with wood, they're paintable, right? You can revarnish them.
They're maintained, right?
Yeah, they're easy to repair if something goes wrong. They're eco-friendly, right? You can always get more wood, right? You don't have to. So some of the cons are maintaining them. Sometimes it takes a little extra work. You have to do something year in, year out. Wood rots and decays.
That takes me to a thought. I see this a lot in West Bloomfield because of the time that these homes were built. They have a lot of wood siding.
Sure.
And you're talking, these houses are 3,000 square feet. They're huge. They're beautiful. They're expensive. They range between $600,000 and $900,000. And you go outside and you look up, and because there are a lot of trees, that moisture, they don't get enough sun. You can see that the wood begins to rot.
Yes.
And that has been a turnoff for multiple clients as soon as they see the rotted wood, because you also have to worry about termites. You have to worry about all kinds of things.
Sure.
But unless the environment is good for wood, it's probably not a good idea to use wood in exterior building anymore. Sure. Interior is a different story.
Sure. Well, you said the magic word there where wood starts rotting. So what happens, some of these wood framed homes, people started putting vinyl siding around the wood.
On top of them.
Yeah. Vinyl siding is affordable, more affordable than brick. It looks beautiful if it's done right, especially if it's the right color.
Yeah,
not a dark blue in the middle of nowhere. Bright. I've seen a bright red home. Yeah. There was a bright red home, red vinyl siding on Grinley Park, and somebody was joking around with me. This was the good old days when you used to have your buyer in the car and you're driving around from one house to another to show them. They're like, "Wow, that might be a hard to sell."
Yeah.
I said, "Not harder than the one next door." And they started laughing. Yes, it's very hard to sell a red house, but the one next door is even harder. That was the joke. Yeah. Vinyl siding does fade with the weather. There's a lot of damage sometimes. Right. The other material sometimes uses aluminum siding. Aluminum siding at one time was very, very popular, but with the rise of the vinyl siding, people started going towards the vinyl siding.
Yeah.
So with the wood frame homes, the cheaper way used to be you just throw some aluminum on there.
Yeah.
But aluminum bends, it falls off. Vinyl siding.
But you know what else happens is if it cracks or bends or anything and water gets inside, you just created a really nice environment for mold and additional rotting, especially if it's summertime.
Sure.
And that water doesn't have anywhere to go and doesn't have any way to dry up. That's what happens. And then with the metal siding, I don't know the exact years. I should know this, but there was a period of time where asbestos was used.
Oh yeah,
Side of the siding.
yeah.
So that's always a good question to ask when you're buying a house that's not brick.
I remember this. There's a lot of houses in the South End.
Yeah.
Henry Ford built a lot of cheap and just quote unquote cheap because he just had a lot of people working at the Rouge plant and he just wanted to build them affordable housing. Well, not intentionally cheap, but he knew that his workers couldn't afford the very fancy homes. But when they started putting aluminum siding around the wood frame homes, that's what they used in between.
Yes.
Right, the asbestos.
Right. Yeah.
So that's real. Yeah. So.
And then going back to brick, not all brick is created equal.
Absolutely.
Right. So you could go look at a brick house. On the outside, it looks really nice, perfect. Even the spaces between the bricks are really, really perfect. If it looks too perfect, then it probably is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's too perfect to be true. We have to be able to differentiate between a true brick house and a veneer, like a faux brick veneer house. Because those will come apart. Eventually, I had a client where I had the house listed and I went to see her and she said the brick fell off the house. What do you mean the brick fell off the house? So I went to see it and there was a whole piece, maybe like 4 feet by 6 feet, and it just fell off because what happened is the gutters, there was something going on with the gutters, and there was something going on with the top where the seam kind of meets, and water got in, and that water continued to get in behind that faux veneer, and eventually it fell off. It built up so much water and moisture that it fell off, and her house wasn't really a brick house.
Yeah,
so
ask me why I laughed when you said that.
Why did you laugh so hard?
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. As soon as you said that, you remind me of a really funny story. Your old lady calls me up, and I don't mean to say old, but she was an old lady. She called me up. That's part of the story. She called me up. This is when we actually, before cell phones, I think, like in the late 90s. Well, there were cell phones. I didn't have one back then, so I'm talking to her, and she's describing her home. It's a beautiful home. The carpet's newer. It's a brick home. She said brick home like 3 different times. I'm like, I already wrote down that it's a brick home.
Yeah.
So I had to do like a market analysis and come up with a price for her or whatever. So walk in, I walk in. She had these little cute sugar cookies on the table. She made some tea. We sat down. We discussed the numbers. I said, give me a tour of the house. We toured the house, and she wasn't joking. It was a brand new, carpeted home. Yeah. Also, our seasoned veteran humans that they like the carpeting, right? For the warmth and the softness. So we walked around. Beautiful house. It's well taken care of house. We get outside. I look at the garage. I look over to the roof, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I kind of leaned on the house, and one of the veneers fell off.
You broke the house.
She goes, "You caught me."
She knew it wasn't.
She knew it wasn't brick. She knew it was brick veneer. She wanted to convince me, and she wanted to go out and sell this house as a brick home, and it was just a veneer.
That's very funny.
Explain what veneer is. So
it's a thin. It's kind of made from brick, so it's really we're not lying when we say it's brick, but it's very thin. It's almost about a ½ inch. But then there are others that are made of plastic, so you just have to. You
just
have
looks
to really
like
be
brick.
careful. It just looks like brick. It's fake brick.
Yeah.
But it's only about a ½ inch, maybe 3/4, not even 3/4, thick, and they just basically just put it up on top of whatever layer comes underneath.
Yeah.
So you're not getting the traditional 3-inch or 3.5-inch depth of the brick.
Yeah.
You're only getting a ½ inch of that.
But it was so cute that she knew she would get more money for her house because it is brick, and she wanted to convince me that it was brick, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you to Eastbourne Fruit Market for sponsoring today's show. Mr. Hassan Adur and Hajj Rabi as the owner. Hassan Adur is the manager.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to. I thought I had their phone number here, but Eastbourne Fruit Market is. I'll get the phone number before the end of the show, but they're in Wyoming, just north of Warren Avenue.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan Adur and Eastbourne Fruit Market for today's sponsorship. We're going to go into break right now and continue this discussion right after break. Again, if you have any questions for us on today's topic or any topic, please call 313-769-6666. See you soon. Welcome back to You Need to Know with Hussein and Nofila. We're actually live on Facebook right now, and we're getting some comments there at our post. People are loving the topic, today's topic. A lot of great information in some of the comments. Another comment was, I love Cape Cods. They are beautiful, that's for sure. So
I love Cape Cod.
yeah, check us out on live on Facebook, and you can also, this will be recorded and put on our YouTube, and our YouTube is You Need to Know 2025. Is that correct? You Need to Know 2025. There'll be all of our episodes will be recorded and saved on YouTube. Nofila, since this is a great discussion and people out there are listening, let's continue. As a buyer, so we already established a brick ranch is probably the most expensive house that you're going to be buying per square foot now. Depends on the size, depends on the area, city. That's the most expensive one. And if it's an attached garage, it's a plus. It makes a difference. So there's a difference. So when people say, I want to buy a house for $300,000, well, you can buy, beautifully updated 3-bedroom bungalow for $300,000. It won't buy you maybe 30% of a brick ranch with an attached garage in the Dearborn Heights area.
Like a nice one,
yeah. I'm not, all houses are beautiful, but yeah. So I also want to talk about about some of the when our buyers are looking at a home. You just can't, say, okay, I need a 3-bedroom. I want it close to a certain school. You have to look at, you're putting a big investment into a house, and you don't want to move in all of a sudden. Here we go. We got to change the roof.
You don't want to be house poor, is what you're trying to say.
Well, not only, you're right. You don't want to be house poor, but at the same time, if you saved up just enough to get into a house at 20% down, and something comes up, so you probably want to check out. I'll go over some of the big ticket items.
Yeah.
Okay. So the roof is a big one, right?
That's a big one. Yeah.
Roof sometimes is warranted, up to 30 years.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic with all the snow and hot summers in the Michigan area. Roofs take a beating.
They do.
So after 15 years, they start showing signs of needing maintenance.
And if they're not put together right, your house takes a beating.
Yeah, we're just assuming it's great company, used the right material, did it right, warranted work. Mm-hmm. But that's a big ticket item. The other one is your HVAC, your heating, cooling, your air conditioning.
Yeah.
It used to be not expensive process to replace them, but in today's world, with today's economy now and the material cost, they're getting pretty expensive.
They are expensive. I actually just saw a furnace, and I guess I know why I noticed these things, but it was a small bungalow. It's on the market now. Yeah. And I walked the buyer through, and we went into the basement. It was a Bosch furnace. It was huge. Yeah. And it looked like it had all the bells and whistles. I went and looked it up afterwards. That's not a furnace you put in a small bungalow. Yeah. It's an incredible furnace. And I think that furnace is probably going to live 40, 50 years. But yeah, the furnace makes a huge difference. Sure. Another big ticket item is your kitchen. It might be, the seller might have lived there for 25 years and like, this is a brand new kitchen. Yeah. Yeah. They put in a brand new kitchen and they're still enjoying it and they love it. It's their brand new kitchen, but it might not be your taste for what a kitchen looks like. So kitchens aren't just about being functional, because now they're the heart of the home. Yeah. They also have to be beautiful, and they kind of reflect what that family's lifestyle is and what their taste is like. So I always see kitchens get changed, no matter how beautiful they are. They get changed. Yeah. Another one you want to keep an eye on, and it might be important for some people. Some people, maybe it's not a big deal. Are bathrooms. Yeah. Are they updated? With bathrooms with a lot of humidity staying in there, the water, there's damage behind the walls. Sometimes you have to kind of pull out all the walls and restart fresh. And that's what we did at our last home with a couple of bathrooms. Yeah, we gutted everything. We gutted right down to the 2x4s. Windows is another big ticket item, especially if there's a lot of windows. The last house we lived in had 28 windows? They had 28 windows made out of wood. They were really good quality. Yeah. But they were at the end of their life, so sure.
In our area, like I mentioned earlier, finished basements are important. You walk into a house. Here's the tricky part with finished basements. When the house is getting appraised, it might not bring a lot of value to the appraised value, to the actual cost of the sales price.
It's not taken into the equation, yeah.
But somebody buying a house and they fall in love with the beautiful kitchen in the basement. It might be a small dining room upstairs, but there's this beautiful dining room downstairs where you can probably feed sit down for dinner with all of your family, 12, 15, 18 people at the same time. It's nice at Thanksgiving.
Place. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Now with the big sound systems and the TVs, it can be very, very nice. A couple things I want to talk about there. I want to talk about floors. We'll get to floors in a second, but first I want to start off with countertops, and this is something that you're pretty much an expert on, so I'm going to need your help on. Yeah, well,
I try.
I'll agree with you. I'm not going to argue with you there. So I guess the top 4 countertops is granite, marble, laminate, and natural stone.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with the natural stone? Describe that a little bit for us, and we'll get to the pros and cons.
So the only real natural stone that gets taken out of a mountain or a quarry are granite and marble. They're natural colors. You'll never see the same slab twice unless it was cut from the same block.
Yeah.
They were all cut from the same block.
Yeah.
And then they're brought over here or wherever they're being fabricated, and then they get cut to size and shined up, and they have a beautiful edge, and they get placed in homes. Those are the only God-made countertops you'll ever buy. Everything else is fabricated.
Yes.
Like, for example, quartz. Quartz has quartz in it. It has bits and pieces of quartz in it, but it's a fabricated countertop. And they're very durable. All 3 that I mentioned are very durable. They'll last forever. But one is natural and one isn't. And the only thing you have to worry about with a natural stone countertop is let's say you get a white countertop and it's marble and it's not sealed correctly. As soon as you put a pot of pasta on there, it's going to absorb everything because it is a natural stone. It's porous. Onyx is a good one.
You have to say pasta. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. I'm hungry too. So if you get a laminate countertop, that's basically pressed wood, and it's sealed, and it's wood. Eventually the colors are not popular anymore, and eventually it starts peeling, and you have to change it again. But if you want a lifelong countertop, get yourself a granite or a marble. And make sure that they're sealed right, and make sure that it's a color that's going to be a classic. That's not going to, something that'll outlive all the different fads of colors.
Sure.
I've seen some really interesting green countertops, granite countertops.
They do exist.
They exist, yeah. And I remember those back in maybe like 2005, 2006. Those were imported from Persia, I think. And somewhere in that part of the world, and there was a time when politics got in the way and you couldn't get your hands on a green countertop.
Persia, aka known as Iran.
Yeah. So it was that region, and you couldn't get your hands on a green countertop.
Sure.
So they were being sold at the time for maybe $90 a square foot, when the average color was being sold for $28 a square foot.
Sure, that makes a big difference.
So it was a huge difference. Today you can get a nice countertop for probably $75 a square foot, but just make sure it's the right material so that it'll last very long.
Sure, you stole my thunder, so I just wanted you to describe the material, but that's fine. So I'll just summarize. With granite and marble, beautiful, durable, heat resistant somewhat, but they're also very expensive compared to other material. With the laminate, it's affordable, but it's also not heat resistant. It can be damaged by moisture, and it can be scratched and chipped.
And then the germs can really build up, and I just have a thing with laminate countertops. This is wood. At the end of the day, it's
especially if they get scratched and you don't repair it, and
you're not sanitizing,
that line turns green.
Yeah.
We've seen those.
Yeah. So a natural stone is always something that you could really scrub down and really make sure that it's not dirty and it doesn't have any germs inside.
Sure. The next thing I wanted to cover in the file is floors. My favorite is hardwood floors.
I like
Always been.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about hardwood floors compared to carpeting, laminate.
Can I ask everyone for a personal favor? Please stop putting that gray, ugly laminate vinyl in your homes. It's ugly. Doesn't need to be there. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to walk on it. It doesn't feel good with shoes. Doesn't feel good without shoes. Just stop.
I'm hoping to God that it's a fad.
It is a fad.
Because you take a buyer in there, especially if it's a first-time buyer, and they walk in and they're like, "Oh my God, beautiful floors!" I'm like, "No, don't get fooled." It's always just
really
somebody
bad.
just put some cheap stuff on, and
hardwood is amazing. I remember in our house when we pulled up the carpet, there was beautiful hardwood under, and it was a very long living room connected to a dining room connected to a kitchen, and the den, right? So it had to flow. Right, so the kitchen's hardwood was damaged, and we had to change it. And we brought this guy in, and my only thing with it was I wanted to flow, and I wanted to feel like just a continuous hardwood. And I understand that this hardwood is probably 70 years old.
Sure.
But I want you to match it. And he just looked at me like I was crazy. So he was able to find out exactly what type of wood it was, hardwood, and then he was able to find the hardwood to match it, and the way he sealed it and glazed it and everything, he said give it 2 years, and then the color on this one is going to match the color throughout the rest of your house.
I thought he did a great job.
And he did.
Yeah, he did a great job.
2 years later, it started to turn, because he said it yellows after a while. You'll get that yellow hint. And I just loved the flow of it, and I admired it every single day. Yeah. The hardwood is the most beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Carpet? Carpet, you're looking at, it just depends. Do you have an allergy? Do you prefer carpet? Some people prefer carpet. But it collects dust. No matter how well you think you're vacuuming or doing whatever you need to do, it does collect dust. It collects moisture that comes out of your bathrooms and your kitchens. So you have to continuously do a deep professional cleaning once or twice a year to make sure that it's maintained. Laminate floors, not a fan, because they're usually not waterproof unless you buy a really expensive, like a luxury vinyl or a luxury laminate, and get them to be waterproof. Then I would stay away from anything, planks, anything that's $2 a square foot. Stay away. Yeah. And then the last one is ceramic tile or marble. Those are always great options.
Yeah, we've walked into homes where multiple flooring. Yeah, the golden rule is different. The golden rule is stay under 3 or under. And
3 types.
The recommendation is hardwood in the living area spaces, carpeting in the bedrooms. When you wake up in the morning, you want to step on a carpet, nice warm
not a cold floor.
That. Right. And if you're going to go with tile, use it in the bathroom or the kitchen.
Unless your kitchen flows into your living room.
That's a whole different story.
Figure that out.
Why are you smiling? Yeah. So that's again, hardwood floors probably more expensive, not more.
Of course they are.
More expensive. Yeah. So, but it's beautiful. I've seen people spend money on ceramic. What are they? What size are those big tiles?
The 2x4s. Like they're 2 feet wide by 4 feet wide.
I just walked through.
4 feet long.
I didn't think I would like it. I would personally. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But I walked into a home where the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the family room was
large format. Yeah.
It was beautiful. It's gorgeous. Yeah, but
in the right house, yes. Don't your 8x10 bedroom. That's not what you want to do.
This was a huge ranch, and that's what they did in the living room and the kitchen.
Because a large space gives it the ability to show off its beauty.
I know you wanted to talk about another thing. Older homes compared to newer homes. We'll get to that. We'll wrap up with that. But we're going to go into a very short break right now. And again, I want to thank Eastbourne Fruit Market for sponsoring today's show. And by the way, if you're looking to buy or sell a home and you want an experienced agents, you want an experienced team, we have a team of 4, sometimes 5, working together to help you. Do not hesitate to call us. We do a great job. Maybe I sound biased saying that, but the service we provide is the kind of service I want from for myself and my family. So do not hesitate to call us. If you're just asking questions, if you're thinking about selling your house, you're not sure, we will be completely honest with you. And the experience we have is just, second to none. Some great agents out there, some great agent, but second to none, I can say that. Nofila's number is 313-443-7443. My phone number is 313-580-8007. We're going to go into a short break now. Welcome back to You Need to Know with Hussein and Nofila. Again, thank you, Eastbourne Fruit Market. I did get the phone number. Their phone number, if you have any questions for them, is 934-4004. Mention this show when you talk to Mr. Hassan Adur, and you'll get a special discount. I just made that up, but I'm sure he'll give you a discount. A couple of things happening in around town this weekend. Tomorrow is the back-to-school PTA picnic from 12 to 3 at Ford Field, the big shelter known as the North Shelter. Nofila, you want to spend about 15-20 seconds on that, please?
My favorite event of the year. That's it. We started this picnic in 2015, and it has been going strong since, and it just grows every single year. So I want to give a huge shout out to the current PTA Council, with the leadership of their president, Nabila Talaya, and his board. You guys are doing amazing work. We love you, and we can't wait to see your successful picnic tomorrow.
And another thing happening around town Sunday at Ford High School is our little guys playing football. It's football season. I'm wearing my Michigan shirt on. Go Blue. If you want to come on out and watch the little guys play football, the flag team, they're the cutest. Flag team is at 9 a.m., freshmen is at 11 a.m., JV is at 1. Then our varsity, which we're preparing to go into the high schools, is at 3 p.m. You mentioned this show, and nachos are on me. Speaking of back to school,
These are the Dearborn Lions.
These are the Dearborn Lions,
Yeah,
yes.
at
The
Etzel
Dearborn
Ford
Lions at
on
Etzel
Sunday.
Ford High School on Sunday. Yes. Speaking of back to school, I believe it was episode 2. You can visit it on our YouTube channel. You Need to Know 2025, and it was episode 2 with a lot of great information in back to school. Visit that, and if you have any questions, call us. Yeah. I think I covered everything, Nofila. Take it away.
All right, let's get into the topic of old houses versus new houses.
Okay.
So we get a first-time buyer.
Yeah.
And they want to buy a house.
Yeah.
They don't know the first thing about buying a house, so that's why they call us. And then they start to learn that there's a difference between an old construction home and a new construction home.
Absolutely.
And everything in between.
Sure.
And every one of these building eras has pros and cons.
Of course.
I personally love the older homes. My parents' house was built in 1929.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 100 soon.
That's an aviation sub?
Aviation sub, yeah. And there are a lot of those homes in the aviation sub. 2 minutes? Okay. And I think we need a whole episode on this, to be honest.
You know what? Yeah, there's some. You're familiar with the neighborhood associations and the tours they do. The aviation sub is 4 subs, 2 in South of Tireman and 2 North of Tireman. It's pretty much the same builder. Most of those houses were built in the 20s. Just strong homes. Great brick houses, beautiful homes. The next era was like in the early 50s, after the war.
After the war, yeah.
So brand new built homes come in different shapes and sizes.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, so the ones that were built in the 50s, even the ones that were built in the 80s, they were using good materials. These days, unless you're building a house yourself and you're spending a lot of money, you're spending to live in your family, be very, very careful. Some of these homes you walk into, you can kind of like lean on the wall and fall right through the wall. So be very, very careful.
But we don't want to go too deep. We'll have a whole episode on this.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be yeah, sure, there is. So yeah. Anything else you wanna?
No, it's gonna be an exciting weekend. I want to say congratulations to Aya, our niece, and her husband Muhammad. They're getting married tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're going to a wedding tomorrow, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And just enjoy your weekend, everybody.
I'm like very happy, of course. Yeah, congratulations to Muhammad and Aya. Aya is my niece. I love her to death. She's the one that's always challenged me, but that's the reason I love her so much. But the other thing is, I promised Nabil that I would flip the burgers. Now I can't. And I did share that with him. Sorry, Nabil. Again, I also mentioned it at the Dearborn School Board meeting the other day. So Nabil, thank you for everything you do. And we appreciate you, and thank you to our audience for listening to us today with You Need to Know with Hussein Nofila, and we'll see you next week.